Was it on you? Oh, it was.
The Michael cam going.
Well, hey, more than likely nobody looked at it really. I can just change that real quick. Your channel. Yeah, run a few spots.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
Do you have a small farm, a big farm, or just critters in the backyard to feed? If you answered yes to any of those questions, then you need to make the short drive down to A&B Feeds in Etheridge, Tennessee today. Owner and operator Jamie Ayers has you covered and will treat you right. That's A&B Feeds in Etheridge, Tennessee.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome everybody to the Hayden Burks Show here on this Good Friday on noon here, as I'm still trying to figure out what we were doing. We had some little technical difficulties issues. I was messing around with the computer over there and we went live accidentally. So anyways, the Hayden Burks Show here on this Good Friday. My name is Hayden Burks, joined alongside Michael Marks in the flesh this time. And Michael, it is so good to have you back. And obviously, as you can tell, we're a little dressed up. We had our professional pictures done today. So, man, I'm feeling professional. This feels like ESPN.
Yeah, I know. We are all dressed up in our suits and ties, looking professional, looking nice. And, yeah, it's nice to be back in the flesh doing this show in person with you, here in the studio.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, just it's always a good time in the studio, on Wednesday nights when we got Dusty and then we got all the guys. Then you're back in town, obviously, for Easter weekend. So, I mean, it's always a good time to, kind of catch up, reflect, and just, hang out and all that stuff. But, hey, it's going to be a good day. Obviously, a bunch of games happen for Lawrence County, Loretta, and then also going to be talking a little bit of basketball, baseball coming up, opening days for a bunch of teams. So, I mean, let's just jump right into it. Obviously, the Mustangs, we'll start with the Mustangs as they beat Hardin County 5-0 yesterday. And, Michael, I was video streaming that game, so you were the one talking. So, I mean, just overall, what was your opinion?
A dominant performance, really. I mean, 5-0 doesn't look too, overbearing, but I mean, when you look at the pitching staff, the defense, the bats, I mean, they all came up and showed in. I mean, Loretto's 8-2 on the season. One of those two losses came to Hardin County in Savannah back last Monday. So it's good to, battle back, get a win, and a really good performance from Clint Seymour and Dylan Thompson on the mound.
Absolutely, and like you said, overall, they were just ice cold on the mound, as I guess you would say. Clint Seymour, he started off hot for them. Then they got that 2-0 lead in I believe it was the bottom of the third, if I do. And then they got that jam with Seymour. He was taking off for a second. And then with that error, I mean, they basically just took off from there and didn't look back.
Yeah, I mean, just a really good performance with the bats. They took, advantage of Hardin County's mistakes. And, an 8-2 record going into district play is, definitely something you want to be excited about.
Especially, I mean, they started the season off 4-0. Had that tough loss against Lawrence County 1-0, like you said. That's probably one you want to forget about. 1-0 loss, and then overall, they lost to Hardin County. At Hardin County, they lost that one 5-1 last week. Looked to get revenge last night, and they sure did. And, I mean, like you said, 8-2, and they're going into district next week. So you got to be, if you're a Loretta Mustang fan, you got to be excited and pumped up, getting ready for district.
Yeah, and it's a big series, too, with Lewis County. I mean, our district really tough again. You have Summertown, who's always going to be a tough battle. Loretta, who's always seems to be at the top. And then Lewis County, you maybe sometimes forget about them being in the district with Loretto and Summertown, but they are no joke either. They made it to the region consolation game last year, and they look to be just as strong again this year.
Absolutely. And so, I mean, there's a lot to look forward to if you're Loretta Mustang. And just overall, they got another game with Lewis County next week. And, I mean, like you said, just Lewis County overall. Just talk about, obviously you've seen more Loretta baseball. What do they need to expect against Lewis County?
I mean, Lewis County was a very good team last year. Power, defense, bats. I mean, they had it all. If Loretta can go in there and kind of play like they did last night, be aggressive, at the plate and let their defense do the work for them, I think they're going to be in for, hopefully a good district season.
Absolutely. And let's flip over to Lawrence County. Obviously, they played at Brooks, Alabama last night and fell short to them. They lost that one 4-2. And Michael, obviously, I were talking about before the show started. Just overall, the Wildcats, they weren't really on top of it. It looked like they were a little. I wouldn't say lackadaisical, but it didn't really click for them, I guess what you could say is, they've been strong so far when they went down to Orange Beach and played in the Gulf Shores tournament. They went 4-0 and then lost in that tournament game and came home 4-1. And, I mean, they've just been strong overall. Unfortunately, had that tough loss that was called in the bottom of the seventh against Giles County. But, I mean, I know this team can bounce back. They're still a young team, and if you're Coach Wright, Clint Wright for them, I mean, you can't really hang your heads low on this one.
Well, I remember when we were talking, I did both of the Loretta Lawrence County baseball games last year, and talking to Clint Wright, his mantra is being very aggressive at the plate. And if you look at their record and pretty much every game but the Loretto game, when they've won, they've scored 7, 8, 9, or maybe
Absolutely.
even 10+ runs. And these last two games they've dropped only 2 runs in each of those games. If they get the bats going again, I don't see any reason why they can't almost win out.
Absolutely, and especially, I mean, like we say, looking to bounce back after that one. I mean, it's a quick turnaround. You have to bounce back because they will be playing Summertown, and obviously, it's not a district game, but it's an in-county rival between these two. And I mean, Lawrence County, they're 8-3. Summertown, they're struggling a little bit, 2-10 overall. But hey, we know this Summertown team, once their bats get going, they get comfortable and get into the zone. They're a dangerous team.
Yeah, it's a young season for them, and again, they're a very young team. Once they get the pieces figured out for Summertown, I think they'll really get that ball rolling, and they'll be just as tough as they always are.
I mean, especially, they've got Summertown today today it will be at Summertown, but then again, they will be playing versus Lawrence County on Saturday tomorrow. So, I mean, two pretty good games that we got coming up in the county. And, I mean, just overall, we can look at now softball. Obviously, Lawrence County, they lost to Hardin County, but they're going to be coming back. Next week, I do believe they play Franklin County on Monday in their third district game now, as they're 3-3 overall, 1-1 within the district. So, obviously, I've been covering the Lady Cats this year. They're a pretty strong team. I mean, they are a really good young team coming up within the rankings within the district. But, it's like you got to get your bats. Mm-hmm. You got to get your bats hot. And so, I mean, that's the sport of baseball, really, and softball.
Well, and I think we talked about this last night during some of our commercial breaks. I mean, we got a bunch of multi-sport athletes all across the county. So most of these Lady Cats are just coming right off basketball, and they got to go straight into softball. And trust me, hitting a round ball with a round bat is not easy. So once they get those bats rolling, I think they'll be a very confident team. But, now they're just working those young people in and trying to, kind of find the spots they need.
Absolutely. And then just flipping over to the Lady Mustangs, obviously, a little struggle for them so far. They are 1-0 within their district as they beat Lewis County last week. And they're coming into these games. Obviously, they're going to be on the road a lot with going to play, I believe it's Rogers, Alabama. Mm-hmm. And then they've got, just coming up with Mount Pleasant. I mean, just overall, Lady Mustangs, they've struggled a little bit, but hey, they are still one of the top teams within our district for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Lady Mustangs are always going to be a tough out. It doesn't matter what the sport is. Volleyball had a good season, made it to the state tournament. Basketball, girls basketball did the same thing, and I expect softball to hang right in with them. You have a bunch of those people that play volleyball, that play basketball, that play softball, and on top of just being athletes, they're competitors. So as soon as they kind of get in a little groove, I mean, they're going to be hard to stop.
Yeah. So, I mean, we got a busy week coming up with not just all of our 6 teams within the Lady Cats for Lawrence County and the Wildcats and all of the Summertown teams, the Loretta's team. So, hey. It's going to be a fun week coming up for sure with district coming up, and then also just overall travel. We're going to be busy, but, hey, we love doing it. So that'll do it for the local segment, as after this commercial break, we'll be going to our basketball, where we're going to be talking about a little bit of Golden State and the controversy between Draymond Green and everything going on in the NBA, and then overall within March Madness. That'll be next here on the Hayden Burks Show. Oh, my goodness.
Financial advisor Scott Beasley knows time spent with family is everything. As a founder of Beasley Wealth Management, his mission is to give clients the freedom to enjoy time with family without the burden of financial concerns. A local of Lawrenceburg, Scott deeply values building relationships with clients, ensuring they make informed decisions concerning asset management, tax planning, and retirement planning. Offering a free initial consultation, Beasley Wealth Management helps clients pursue their aspirations with confidence.
Oh my goodness, they're probably like, what?
A local law firm respected throughout the state. Generations of clients have turned to Boston, Holt, and Durham since 1948. We assist individuals and businesses with their legal needs, including real estate, property closings, personal injury, employment discrimination, and family law. Our clients get the personal attention and convenience of a hometown law firm with the resources and ability to handle any case. Come see us at Boston, Holt, and Durham.
Fast, friendly, and reliable service is our promise to you because you're not just a customer, you're family. From multi-use linen to branded floor coverings and a complete range of cleaning supplies, C&B Linen is here to make sure you have everything you need. From our high-quality products to our fast, friendly, and reliable service, you'll experience the difference with C&B Linen because you're not just a client, you're part of our family. You'll be winning with C&B Linen.
How long you intended it to go?
Got a dent, a ding, a scratch, or a bent fender? Major or minor, Car Country Collision Center in Leoma can fix you up. Car Country works with all insurance carriers, gives free estimates, can work on foreign and domestic vehicles, and has experience you can trust. They've been in business since 1990. Unfortunately, accidents happen, but you can get your car back on the road with as little hassle as possible with the help of Car Country. Call 931-852-4708 or stop by at 2567 Highway 43 South in Leoma.
Run one more spot. Yeah, we'll run that way. That's embarrassing. I'll say the Draymond Greens.
Hey everyone, this is Landon Saunders.
And this is Nate Patterson with Cloud9 Fiber.
We're excited to finally be able to offer Lawrenceburg our blazing fast, reliable, and affordable fiber internet services.
If you're looking for a more reliable and more affordable provider, we at Cloud9 Fiber have you covered.
Plans start at $50 a month, and we can offer up to a gigabit to your home or business.
We are excited to be able to offer your first month of service entirely free. We encourage you to sign up on cloud9fiber.com or by calling 931-201-9098 so we can help you make the switch
For the
today.
best meal from south of the border, head to Cocina Real and Puente Grande for lunch and dinner. With a wide array of mouth-watering entrees, there's something for everyone on the menu. And you can't forget the cheese dip. They'll treat you like family, and you'll never leave hungry. Make Cocina Real Mexican Restaurant and Puente Grande Mexican Restaurant your choice for authentic cuisine. Located in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome back to the Hayden Burks Show here on this Good Friday here in our X Sports Network studio. And Michael, it's now time for the Dusty Kaiser That's Embarrassing moment.
That's kind of embarrassing.
There we go. We put those sound effects in. I'm so excited. I was so happy. We were working on those. Man, I can't wait to hear that on the feed. We can't hear it, but I know the people home, y'all probably heard it. And I mean, that's probably one of the funniest things. I went back and looked at those videos, and we put those sound effects in. We're going to get everybody like their best moments. But anyways, going to that moment, and I guess, the moment would be, in my opinion, Draymond Green.
I feel like this dude's always the topic of conversation in the NBA. Just when you think it's getting a little boring, Draymond Green pulls something out and is always at the top of the headlines, because I feel like every time we're doing a Hayden Burks show, it's like, oh, let's talk about what Draymond did this week. And
the thing is, I'm a Golden State fan. I grew up watching Golden State when I was a kid. I saw Steph Curry, and, everybody says, well, you can't be as physical and as, big as LeBron is, 6'8", but you can be this little 6'2", 6'3" guard that's shooting from the parking lot. Yeah. And so, I just fell in love with Golden State from that moment on. And, I mean, it's hard because I know Draymond Green. I've watched enough Golden State basketball to know that Draymond Green is probably one of the smartest individuals when it comes to the game of basketball.
100%.
And so, just overall, the thing is, if you look at it, this team this year, I mean, they're on the backside of the dynasty. I mean, Steph's 36. Clay's going to be, I think he's going to be coming up on 34 years old. Draymond's 33 right now. He'll be coming up on 34 as well. This team is on the backside. If they want to win the championship with Steph still playing his prime,
it's now.
It's now, and you got to consider moving on from Draymond Green at this point. I told you this yesterday whenever we were doing the baseball game at Loretta. Mm-hmm. I've tried my best to defend Draymond Green, and I can't anymore at this point, because just when you're getting ejected 3 minutes into the game, that's an issue. When there's really no reason to, then again, I don't know what was said. I can't read lips, so I don't really know what's said. I haven't really read into that part of it as much, but just from the Draymond Green standpoint, I mean, what do you do if you're Golden State?
I mean, we've kind of seen the start of the end of the dynasty. We've seen Curry kind of slow down a little bit. We've seen Clay move to the bench. We've seen Draymond doing Draymond things. I think they're starting to realize that they need to move on, and this will probably be the last season of those three guys together, whether somebody retires, whether somebody gets traded, signed somewhere different. But I do think this is probably the last year we see of the Warriors dynasty, so I think they're going to try to milk everything out of these three guys they can, try to make a late playoff push. But you can just see with kind of tempers flaring and everything that's gone on this year that this is probably on the back end.
Yeah, absolutely. It is probably on the back end. I mean, as a fan, I hate it, but then again, all good things must come to an end. Just, Steph's still in his prime. You want to give him what he deserves, what he's put into this organization, this franchise. They've won 4 championships together as a group, the big three, I guess you would call it. But with Clay, the fall off, obviously, he looked like he was coming back, and it's just with those 2 injuries, it's hard to come back to the way you were. Then him being moved to the bench, Steve Kerr trying out different formulas, different lineups. Okay, does it putting in the rookie Brandon Prozimski into the lineup? How will that work with Kuminga? With the Draymond situation, Kuminga, I mean, I feel like he's been unlocked for them. Mm-hmm. Just overall, I mean, they're fighting for the play-in. They're not even fighting for a playoff spot. They're just fighting to stay in the play-in game. So how do you look at it with a dysfunctional team like that right now?
Well, it's scary because if your team isn't 100% bonded when it gets to this point in the season, because the playoffs start in what. The Celtics have already locked a few weeks. So, and as tight as the Western Conference is from about that 6th to about that 12 or 13 spot, you can't afford to go on a losing stretch.
No, not at all.
And especially with a team that's, going through some dysfunction like the Warriors are. If tempers start flaring, you start losing a couple games, you're going to be on the outside looking in, and that is a scary spot to be.
And guess who that team is that's looking outside and they're looking in?
The Houston Rockets.
The Houston Rockets. And you even told me, you said they might go on a run, and sure enough, with Jalen Green averaging, I believe, 27.6 points a game the last 8-9 games, something like that. They're on like a 8-game winning streak still, I do believe. They're 1 game behind Golden State. If Golden State, they fall, if they fall and Houston gets, there's going to be a matchup. I was watching ESPN First Take, and Tim Legler, he was bringing the situation up that Golden State and Houston will be playing within the next few weeks, and that game will basically determine who's going to be in and who's going to be out.
And that's crazy to think about, because looking into the season, you're like, okay, Golden State and Houston. You probably had them as far away as maybe like Golden State being the 3 or 4 in the West and Houston probably being
in the bottom
14 or 15.
Yeah.
It's crazy what the Rockets have done, but as much young talent as they got, they're kind of like, I would say, a less talented version of what Oklahoma City has been the past couple of years.
Is a stud.
Yeah, I mean, you got these young guys that are talented, that can score and all that stuff. It's just, they've kind of flown under the radar because Houston hasn't been the best since, really since James Harden left.
Yeah.
So now that they kind of got everything back and rolling, I'm kind of excited to see where Houston ends up in the next couple of years.
Well, I mean, jumping back over to Golden State, though, I mean, Draymond Green he's had 4 ejections this season. That's the most he's had ever in a season for his career. I mean, I believe it's 19 ejections overall in his career, something like that.
Crazy.
I mean, I'm not sure if that's right or not. That's kind of an embarrassing moment. Is that what you did over there, Sam? I say, hey, let's give a round of applause for Sam, though. He's back in the studio for the first time since it felt like the first episode.
And they can't see it because he's off camera. He's dressed up just like
us,
too.
He is dressed up.
We're all
real
looking
dressed
snazzy.
up and nice, yeah.
This is the most professional episode of the Hayden Burks show we've had
I know,
yet.
yeah, and we still find a way to make it unprofessional. But, no, just jumping back, I mean, when you look at the NBA, I mean, obviously, I haven't been watching the NBA as much just because, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to watch at this point. If it's on, I might watch it. I'd rather watch college basketball more than I would NBA. But then again, when it's come to the crucial moments like it is now after the All-Star break where trades are made, people are selling, people are buying in to get their teams better, make a late playoff push. I mean, it's the favorite time of year. I mean, I feel like for the NBA.
Yeah, it's fun because you're seeing a bunch of guys on new teams. And when guys are switching teams in the middle of the season, how does that affect the team he was with? How does that affect the team he is with now? How does that affect his production? I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it that makes the second half of the NBA season, post All-Star break, really entertaining to watch. Because I mean, we've seen some guys moved around this year, and OG Anunoby to the Knicks. I mean, that was pre-All-Star break, but just moves like that have been really interesting.
Yeah, Bogdanovich also going to the Knicks as well. So I mean, the Knicks. We'll jump over that just for a little bit. Knicks, obviously, they kind of been on a cold spell a little bit just because of injuries. OG Anunoby coming back in the lineup. I believe Randall is having some problems as well. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but I know he's been having some issues. Brunson still doing his thing, and I mean, obviously he's an MVP candidate. And just overall, I mean, the East has probably got the best teams overall, but the West is just so loaded, like you don't really know who's going to be playing in and out. And speaking of the West, we'll jump over this team, even though I don't like them, the Lakers. Boy, have they looked hot the past few weeks. That win against Milwaukee with Reeves having 29 points, AD looking like a beast down low, and then also D'Angelo Russell looking like D'Angelo Russell in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. If that Lakers team can figure that out, I like their chances of being in the playoffs once again and possibly make it to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I'm 100% on there with you. I mean, this Lakers team has looked like what we thought they could look like because you got a team with LeBron. I mean, enough said. But then they have Anthony Davis, who, again, when he's not on the sideline with a torn finger or whatever's wrong with him this time.
Stub toe.
He's a stud. And, Reeves has been good. Really, the pieces they have on that team, they can make a run. It's just sometimes they're a little discombobulated with their defense, and some guys are looking cold, some guys are looking hot. I think they're starting to click at the right time, and when everybody gets back from injury and they really get to playing good, watch out because the Lakers can definitely make a push for banner number 18.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it's really fun. So, I mean, I'm excited for the NBA. So, we're going to stick with basketball after these commercial breaks, but now we're going to flip over to the college side into March Madness and what's been going on the past few weeks, and especially what happened last night with all the upsets. That's next here on the Hayden Burks Show.
I'm Mike Keith, and my friends at Elliott Johnson Insurance have a great partner in Auto Owners Insurance. Auto Owners makes it easy to get life, home, car, or business insurance. Let Elliott Johnson Insurance find the Auto Owners policy that makes a difference in your life. Call Elliott Johnson Insurance at one of their 3 locations, Florence, Loretto, and Lawrenceburg. Elliott Johnson Insurance, moving forward for our clients every day.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, no problem.
No.
We don't, yeah.
Welcome to Employee Resources Credit Union, where you're more than just a number, you're family. We provide financial solutions that rise above those of traditional banks. With roots stretching back to 1964, we've served 4 generations during constant industry changes. We're known for our low fees and incredible rates. Join us and experience the credit union difference. ERCU, not for profit, for service.
For decades, First Class Charter has provided high-quality motor coach transportation services to the Tennessee Valley. With numerous safety and cleanliness accreditations, First Class Charter is ready to make your group trip a reality. Contact us today by visiting firstclasscharter.net. First Class Charter, the official motor coach company of the North Alabama Lions.
Flooring sets the tone throughout your home.
For flooring that makes the right first impression, start by choosing us, Floored by Justin.
A one-stop flooring destination. Our new location stands alone for unequaled customer service and selection. Owner Justin Story's mastery of custom hardwood inlays means every room can have a custom look. Discover how the right choice of hardwood, laminate, carpet, or tile can set the tone in your home. Contact Floored by Justin today.
The Summit of Lawrenceburg is the premier senior and assisted living community in the region. The Summit makes it home for you or your loved one with diverse suites that welcome and encourage community, plus gathering spaces, neighborhoods, daily activities, and a wonderful staff that supports you every day.
Hi, I'm Tara Blue. I'm the new director of the Summit, and we would like to invite you and your family to come and tour our facility. We would love to see you here.
Make your property rock and roll with services from G&S Excavating, specializing in white sand, compost, mulch, topsoil, landscape gravel, and steel landscape edging. Turn to the pros who know how to make your project shine with years of experience. The best part is they're locally owned and operated. Choose from a vast selection of mulch and rock from their conveniently located facility at number 3 Valley Road in Lawrenceburg, just off Buffalo Road. Phone 931-279-3841 and get started today.
Hey, this is Phil Hooper. Get the look you want for your favorite school, church, or business with apparel from HD Ink Screen Printing in Leoma, Tennessee. Got a logo you need embroidered or screen printed? Let HD Ink give you the professional look that sets the bar in today's world. We do fundraisers and custom designed apparel and so much more. Call today, 931-201-2961, or come see us at our new shop located at 26 Ingram Road in Leoma. Remember, HD Ink for the look you want and the look you deserve.
Here at Heritage Automotive, experience the difference. With our great sales department, service department, and parts department. Now offering up to $10,000 off on all Chevy and GMC Model 1500s.
And we have over 30 lenders with some of the best rates in the market.
Hi, it's Tad with Heritage Automotive. And we want you to know when it comes to your vehicle, you deserve help, not hassle. With our 30 plus years of experience of being your local dealership, we're here to serve you. So whether it's routine maintenance, mechanical repairs, collision repairs, we're here to help. So give us a call today to schedule your service.
Heritage Automotive. Expect more, experience the difference.
Hood Company Real Estate is highlighting the beautiful home located at 786 Hillview Drive in Lawrenceburg as this week's property of the week. This spacious 4-bedroom, 4-bath brick residence sits on a picture-perfect 3+ acre lot and features an attached, extra-large 2-car garage. This is a solid custom-built home with many updates, including a new HVAC system and tankless hot water heater, plus the price has recently been reduced. For more on this and many other homes, check out hoodcompanyhome.com or phone 931-762-5816.
If you're stuck, then you're in luck. Call Tyler McDowell with In-Service Towing, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for quick, reliable service. When you find yourself in a bind, In-Service offers full-service towing and recovery services as well as vehicle lockouts, jump starts, and emergency roadside assistance. Family-owned, family-operated. When you need a hand, call In-Service Towing or ask for them by name. Serving Southern Tennessee and North Alabama. Phone number 931-843-9098 or visit inservicespecialties.com.
Jack Davis Insurance, located at 201 West Gaines Street in Lawrenceburg, has you covered through all of life's obstacles. Facing those challenges is easier together. That's why Jack Davis specializes in group insurance. Cover the most valuable aspect of your business, your employees, with coverage for life, accident, cancer, critical illness, short-term disability, dental, and vision. Jack Davis can customize plans for every need. Serving Lawrence and surrounding counties since 1987. Contact Jack Davis Insurance today at 931-242-5600. 5225.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome. That was real cool, Sam, what you did there. That really threw me off. Welcome back to the Hayden Burks Show here on this Good Friday. And Michael, it's favorite time of the year, March Madness, man. And it was absolutely madness last night.
Yeah, I mean, we had a plethora of good games, and then UConn and San Diego State had an exhibition that nobody watched because it was a 30-point game. But honestly, the other three games were all excellent all the way through. I mean, you had some very competitive games. You saw Clemson take down Arizona in upset fashion.
Arizona was in my championship.
Yeah, and Alabama upset.
Wait. Alabama. There we go. Yeah. I had to. Sorry.
The red team down south took out North Carolina in a good game, and then Illinois took down the number one defense in the country in Iowa State, and almost. I mean, it was a little close there at the end, but really in commanding fashion.
Absolutely, especially like Iowa State. We were talking about before the show. They struggled. They really couldn't find their shots. I mean, Illinois was doing a great job defensively, holding their guys to what they need to be. And like you said, I mean, Iowa State's a very good defensive team, if not one of the best defensive teams in the country. But then again, I mean, it's March Madness.
I mean, and when you get a good player like Illinois has in Terrence Shannon, number 0 for them, I mean, if you get him to March, that kid is unstoppable. We saw him in Knoxville have a really good game back in December against Tennessee. Tennessee actually came out of that game with the win. But if you have a guy like Terrence Shannon on your team, man, he's that guy you give to the ball when you're down late, you're up late, you need a big bucket. Terrence Shannon's your guy, and I believe he finished with 27 last night.
Yeah, I mean, he was just absolutely insane for them as well. I mean, just overall with that now, Illinois, I didn't have them getting this far, but they're going to be playing UConn. What do we expect?
Oh, man, I mean, UConn, I said this last night to somebody after the Loretto baseball game. I said, I don't know if UConn will win it all this year, but they are the defending national champion, and I firmly believe they are the best team in college basketball this year. Whether they win the championship or not, in my personal opinion, I don't know who can take them down. But, I mean, it's March. Anything can happen.
I thought Arizona could do it, but they couldn't even take down Clemson. So, I mean, UConn, it looks like, then again, I'm not putting them past Illinois. Illinois, they've gotten hot at the right time. And obviously, it's March Madness. I mean, UConn could get beat.
Looking at my initial bracket right now, I only picked 2 teams that aren't in the Elite Eight. And I picked, I had Kentucky and Arizona in my Elite Eight. Other than that, I got the other 6 teams right.
Yeah. I mean, in my bracket, I had Iowa State and UConn, Arizona, UNC. Both of them are out. Iowa State's out. UConn, I still have in there. I had Duke and Kentucky. Duke's the only one left in there, and then Purdue and Creighton. Now, let's talk about that one now.
Whew.
How do you feel?
Cautiously optimistic for Tennessee. I got really bored procrastinating, studying for an exam the other night, as us college folk do. And I started watching a breakdown analysis of Creighton's defense. I was really digging right there. And when it comes to pick and roll, what they do is their big man drops.
Mm-hmm.
You see in pick and roll most days, the big man will come out and hedge.
The big man will hedge, and instead he drops.
He drops. I think Tennessee, if they run that pick and roll with Dalton Connect, we could be looking at another 30-plus point game for him. If he's hitting. Now, he didn't look the best against Texas. I mean,
nobody
looked good against
Texas.
Texas.
Hey, survive in advance. That's the saying.
Hey, listen, at this point in the year, it doesn't matter. You just got to be 1 point better than the team you're playing.
That is true.
And, I mean, I firmly do think that Tennessee's defense could – they're going to have to score tonight, but I don't think that I think their defense will do enough to hold Creighton down that Tennessee won't have to score like 90 points to beat them.
I feel like Adu's the key tonight.
If he can go in there on Kalkbrenner for Creighton and really impose his will, there's no reason Tennessee doesn't win because when Adu, I think it was 12 points, Tennessee's 14-1 this year.
Yeah.
If he scores and he is rebounding and he is playing
and
tough,
he's blocking shots
and he's a tough guy around the rim, there's no reason we don't see Tennessee in their second Elite Eight in school history.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's a big game. We all know Tennessee had that first-round exit against Mississippi State in the SEC tournament. How'd Bama do?
I think they lost that first night too, but I may be wrong.
Yeah, they lost to Florida.
But hey, they're
by 20. Y'all are in the Elite Eight.
They are.
They are in the Elite Eight. Yeah. Well, that's going to change tonight.
We got to
for us
take down
Vols fans. We got to get to Creighton. Okay, now let's go to this subject then. All right, so now we're talking about that. Michael, here's a question. Sam and I, we brought it up before the show. You and I talked about it. What if we see Tennessee versus Alabama? And I'm not saying both teams are going to make it. What if we see Tennessee and Alabama in the national championship?
Go ahead and book me a flight to Phoenix. I'll be
Book
there.
me a flight to Phoenix.
I'll be
there.
there.
Might be. I mean, there might be.
I
some
feel bad.
fights.
I feel bad if that's the national championship because you got two teams, from the Southeast, and they got to go to Phoenix, Arizona to play in the national championship. But I mean, if you know how passionate both of those fan bases are,
they will be there.
And listen, I didn't think Alabama had a basketball fan base before this season. To be completely honest, I thought they were just a football school, and then when basketball season came around, they all got their Kentucky shirts out. But apparently they do have a basketball fan base, and that showed when Tennessee went down there. I mean, when Tennessee played in Tuscaloosa that Saturday night, that was an incredible atmosphere. I wasn't there in person, but seeing it on TV was incredible. So I think we would have a packed-out stadium for that one for sure. Both teams going for their first national championship in basketball in school history.
Oh, me. He said
The
put on
look
your
Sam
Kentucky
gave me.
shirts. Sam looked at you like, have you lost your mind?
And they get their Vanderbilt shirts out for baseball season. But
yeah, that is true. They put on the Arkansas hat, and they consider that Alabama.
Yeah,
they root for Arkansas. But I mean, just we'll go back to the games that happened last night. Obviously, we'll stay with Bama. They beat North Carolina, a very good North Carolina team with R.J. Davis, who in my opinion
was a no-show last night.
A no-show, but then again, he's probably the best point guard in all of college basketball.
Him or Tyler Kolek from Marquette are by far the two best, and Jamal Shedd from Houston is another great one. But, man, I was sitting there looking at the stats. R.J. Davis 0 for 9 from 3.
Yeah, he struggled.
And I think it was maybe 5 for 19 from the field. I mean, if he hits his shots like he normally does, North Carolina wins that game, no contest. But, I mean, great defense from Alabama. I mean, Mark Sears was all over him last night. And the performance that impressed me the most is probably the performance that everybody's talking about today, Grant Nelson.
Yes.
I mean, he's in there on Armando Bacot. Nelson goes for 24 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 blocks, including, did you see the block at the end of the game?
Yes.
I mean, they tried a full court heave, and he just stuck his arms up there, and he's 7 feet tall.
Yep.
That's an easy block, but, man, I mean, Alabama, the concern going into the tournament was their defense. They haven't had to play a team with an extraordinary offense or a team they couldn't keep up with yet. But we'll see how that goes going into the Elite Eight against Clemson.
Yep, and speaking of, we'll get to that last game, and obviously, Clemson and Arizona.
Yeah, man.
I mean, how about Clemson? First time since I believe it was 1969, 1970, somewhere in that range.
Somewhere around there. But, I mean, Brad Brownell is a tremendous coach. I mean, they got a ton of guys. P.J. Hall, their big man in the middle. But they have been being, wouldn't necessarily say carried, but their best player this tournament isn't somebody that you saw that was really tearing things up during the regular season. It is, let me make sure I get the name right. Okay, my thing's messing up. But I think it's Chase Hunter for Clemson. Had 18 points last night, has led them in scoring all 3 games in the NCAA tournament. Has just been tremendous. And, P.J. Hall's going to do what he's going to do. Gerard, their point guard, he's hit 100 threes now this year. I mean, that is just insane. And, Clemson was a team that, I saw kind of hit a drop-off once conference play started and quietly started winning games, got to a 6 seed, got to the tournament, and here they are playing on Easter.
I mean, hey, you never know about some teams. They look really bad. I mean, obviously we know Tennessee, they look
NC
really
State's
bad.
still playing.
NC State's still in. Then I wouldn't say there's really a Cinderella team out there anymore, but I mean,
it'd be Clemson or NC State.
Clemson or NC State, but they deserve to be there though, the way they've been playing.
And this was the first time, I believe, since 2005 that all the 1 seeds and all the 2 seeds made it to the second weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we already saw our first 1 seed go down in North Carolina last night. We dropped 2 of the 2 seeds in Arizona and Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
So we got some of these lower seeds trying to, I mean, it's not much lower, but lower seeds trying to make a name for themselves.
Obviously we got some games coming up tonight, and obviously we already talked about Creighton and Tennessee. Now let's talk about the other side of that bracket, Purdue and Gonzaga. And Gonzaga.
Oh, man, they're no joke.
They are no joke. They are always there.
They felt like one of those teams that was kind of like, I don't really know what the football comparison would be, but I feel like they were always ranked.
Mm-hmm.
And then this season you started looking at the AP poll on Monday afternoon, and they weren't there. And then sometime in February they made a trip to Lexington. and took down Kentucky. And you're like, okay, maybe this team's the real deal. They kept winning. They kept winning. They were the runner-up in the West Coast Conference championship game, lost to St. Mary's, obviously. But, man, they got in the tournament, and they've been running through people. I don't remember who they played in the game last Sunday, but, man, I mean.
Kansas.
They beat Kansas handily. Yeah. Now, again, Kansas was a little.
Injuries.
They were.
Dickerson was out, their best player. I can never remember his name. McCullough, he was out. Yep.
He was out. So that, it took out 20 points for Kansas. But, I mean, Gonzaga, they are as hot as anybody right now. And by far, I think they're a 5 seed. Watch out tonight. I mean, if I'm a Tennessee fan, say we win this game, I don't want to play Purdue or Gonzaga. So we're going to be in for a good game tonight in that one.
I'd rather play Purdue. If Gonzaga gets past Purdue,
it's going to be scary.
I would rather play Purdue the way Gonzaga. That's just me personally. I would rather play Purdue. And then again, look, this is me as a fan. You obviously you were in the bracket. Yeah. By the way, your Iowa State, they're out. By the way, just a heads up, Sam. I'm sure you knew that. But I've got Purdue in my bracket. Then again, my bracket was already busted when Oakland beat Kentucky. I could care less about Purdue.
I had Kentucky in my Elite Eight, so
I had Kentucky in my Final Four.
Thanks, Oakland.
Yeah,
real good job there.
I had Iowa State versus Arizona. And then I had Purdue versus Creighton, I think, in the Final Four.
That's tough. That's a tough draw
I could care less anymore at this point. Go Vols. So that'll do it for the March Madness talk here on the Hayden Burks Show. And, Michael, we're going to be talking a little bit now. Your favorite topic, college baseball, Tennessee Vols, and their hot streak going on. That's here next on the Hayden Burks Show.
The Summit of Lawrenceburg is the premier senior and assisted living community in the region. The Summit makes it home for you or your loved one with diverse suites that welcome and encourage community, plus gathering spaces, neighborhoods, daily activities, and a wonderful staff that supports you every day.
Hi, I'm Tara Blue. I'm the new director of the Summit, and we would like to invite you and your family to come and tour our facility. We would love to see you here.
Zach Edie 1. How is Dalton Connect number 4? Yes.
Oh. I saw something on that.
Make your property rock and roll with services from G&S Excavating, specializing in white sand. Are you looking for the perfect refrigerator? What about a new stove or washer or dryer? It only makes sense to shop at the one place that specializes in appliances, top to bottom, big or small. And that's Kelly Appliance in Lawrenceburg. Kelly Appliance is home to all major name brands, including LG. LG makes life good with a full selection of refrigerators, cooking appliances, dishwashers, microwaves, and more, including appliances made right here in Tennessee. Family owned and family operated. Stop by Kelly Appliance on Jerry Street in Lawrenceburg today.
Why should you bank with Employee Resources Credit Union? We offer a wealth of services, including mobile banking, video banking, bill pay, and more. We also offer loan rates that are lower than those of our competitors. Employee Resources Credit Union has been a financial pillar since 1964, providing long-time support to members of the community. Join us and become part of the ERCU commitment. Not for profit, for service.
At Lawrenceburg Federal Bank, we're proud to be locally owned and operated because we're not just a bank, we're family. When you call, you'll be greeted by a friendly representative who's ready to discuss your banking needs, as well as offer our competitive rates on CDs and money market accounts. Our loan decisions are made in-house and never sold to a secondary market because our commitment is simple. You matter to us. At Lawrenceburg Federal, we offer all the conveniences of larger banks with a personal touch. Join us at Lawrenceburg Federal Bank, where community, trust, and service come together.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome back to the Hayden Burks Show here on the X Sports Network. As Michael, time for your favorite topic, Tennessee baseball. 22-4 overall. They had a big win against Tennessee Tech on Tuesday. They won that one 11-1. Man, these Vols, they look really good. We had this conversation our last show about how we were kind of uncertain. You know, we were talking about the bats and how hot they've been, and just the pitching was kind of iffy, but overall, they look pretty solid.
Listen, this team's still missing their initial Friday night starter. A.J. Russell started that first series when they were playing in Arlington, and they're third in the SEC. I'm not sure if it's third in the SEC or third in the country in team ERA. I mean, they're shutting people down, and when their bats show up, I mean, you're looking at some of the scores right there. I mean, they are impressive. You know, last weekend they welcomed the Rebels into town, and 15-4 or 15-3 Friday night, lost Saturday night, and then 15-4 on Sunday. I mean, when them bats get hot, it's hard to stop them, because it feels like once that first home run goes over the wall, it's home run derby. I mean,
it's a home run derby after that point. But I mean, overall, you know, they're 22-4. Obviously, they lost the series to Alabama. See, he didn't even realize. That's a true Vanderbilt fan.
I would say the Bama fan didn't realize they had a baseball team.
Yeah, I guess not. He's zoned out. Yeah, but I mean, you know, they lost that series, but hey, they bounced back against Ole Miss, went 2-1 in that series. I mean, they've had their issues, but I mean, they get better every game.
Yeah, it really does feel like that, and you know, kind of a, I guess you could say, a little history buff moment. So I believe Blake Burke is now at 39 home runs. He may just still be at 38 for his career. 40 is the record. So, and Christian Moore is, I believe, at 37. So we could have a couple new guys at the top of that list after this season if the bats stay as hot as they do. Christian Moore, I believe, already has 10 home runs this year. Blake Burke's at 9. You got guys like Billy Amick that have 10. I mean, it seems like everybody is hitting a ton of home runs, but they're welcoming the best home run guy in the nation to town this weekend with the Georgia Bulldogs and their third baseman, Charlie Condon.
And we'll talk about the Georgia Bulldogs. Obviously, their first game is tonight at 6:30 Eastern Time, 5:30 Central Time. I mean, what do you expect with this series against Georgia?
It's in Knoxville. It gets me a little nervous, though, because we played them in Athens last year, and they won 2 out of 3. They've already played Alabama last weekend and swept them. That's what has me a little nervous. And they have Charlie Condon with already 16 home runs. He's I believe the number 4 prospect in MLB.com's mock draft. I mean, he's going to be hard to stop. But listen, if there's any pitching staff that can do it, I think it's the Vols. I mean, A.J. Cowsey's looked like a true Friday night ace. You know, he transferred from Jacksonville State to Knoxville and became the Friday night starter, and he's 5-0 on the season. Drew Beam has looked a little slow in that Saturday spot. You know, he's been the Sunday guy for the past 3 years now. Has moved to that Saturday spot and has slowed down a little bit, but I think, you know, this is about the time where he starts picking things back up. And then Sunday is still kind of a toss-up bullpen game for our guys. But, I mean, they looked good last Sunday, and I expect they will continue it this week.
I mean, they looked great last Sunday. Obviously, they had those big wins over Ole Miss. And, I mean, Georgia, they come into this one 22nd in the nation. So, I mean, and that's the thing with the SEC for baseball is, like, Tennessee, they're 5th in the nation. Well, LSU, they're pretty dang good.
LSU's at 8, I believe.
Arkansas's number 1. Vanderbilt, I'm not exactly sure, but I think they're in the 25 range.
They're ranked.
I know they're
A&M,
ranked. Ole Miss.
Ole
Miss is 17.
Yeah, they were ranked. I mean, Alabama's ranked. Mississippi State, I believe, is just on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody in the SEC is good this year, and as you expect every year. Kentucky's even ranked.
Yeah, Kentucky's ranked.
And then there's Missouri.
Missouri.
Sorry.
Missouri's not good at anything except football now.
For some reason.
Yeah, for some reason they're good at football.
They sacrificed
Missouri fans.
They sacrificed their every other sport program for them to have one good football season. So we'll see how that goes this fall.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out for them. But, I mean, just, you know, back to Georgia. I mean, obviously they got Georgia coming up. Then after that they got a series with Auburn. They play Alabama, A&M, LSU, just a few other games. They got Kentucky. They'll be going to Kentucky. I mean, just overall, your expectations. I mean, it's a tough schedule for Tennessee without, you know, with the upcoming SEC series.
I'm excited because next weekend we're bringing LSU to town, and I'll be there.
Yeah.
I mean, you're bringing the reigning national champions into town. Now, they don't have their, Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz from last year, but, man, that doesn't make them any less entertaining to watch. I mean, I believe they're number 8 in the country. They dropped the game last night at home to Arkansas, whose pitching staff had 19 strikeouts. I mean, Arkansas is
they're something else.
Yeah, they're back to where they always are this year. LSU's kind of taking a bit of a step back. It's hard to not take a step back from what you had last year. But man, I mean, this SEC schedule is looking fun, and we're gonna have a lot of good afternoons in Lindsey Nelson this season. It's got that feeling this year.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be. I mean, once we said it's a special season, so I mean, I'm excited. They got their game against Georgia. They'll be playing today. Game 2 will be tomorrow, and then Game 3 will be Sunday on Easter.
And then Saturday and Sunday games are actually televised on the SEC network, so we get a little Vols on actual TV. We don't have to
on Easter Sunday.
Yeah,
nothing better.
And then if the Vols win tonight, we could have two Vols playing on Easter
we
Sunday.
We could. We need Vol Nation to be ready to go. I'm going to be ready to go at Buffalo Wild Wings. That's where I will be there tonight, and I'm going to be ready to go. So. I mean, hey, it's great to be at Tennessee Vols.
Yeah, I mean, softball team's good. Lady Vols got knocked out in the round of 32. I mean, they've made every women's NCAA tournament, so there's no flack on them. But man,
they're actually going to be in Columbia in a few weeks too. They're going to be playing that classic against the Lady Tigers of Memphis, and then also our UT Southern Firehawks will be playing Columbia State, so it'll be like
so get all the in-state teams in.
Yeah, I'm thinking about making a trip to Columbia to watch, also support my university and then just seeing the Lady Vols. So
I might have to make that trip too. We can go get a little Exports Network coverage of it.
Exports Network coverage. So, well, that'll do it for this segment, and for our last segment coming up, it will be the Q&A talk, as we would like you to send in your questions for me and Michael to answer. That'll be next here on the Hayden Burks Show. We off. Why aren't we off? Dang it, Sam.
From our humble beginnings to today, Parks Lumber Company has continuously served Lawrence and surrounding counties for over a century. Although we started as a small lumber yard in 1896, we have grown to include everything you need to make your dream project come to life. No matter your building needs, our experienced staff will be with you every step of the way to ensure you receive the highest customer service and attention to detail you deserve. Visit us at 106 2nd Street or on Facebook. We guarantee you will see working with PLC is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Do you ever worry about having too much in the garage? What about where you're going to put the mower or your ATV? Or better yet, your mother-in-law? Look no further than Quality Storage Buildings located right next door to Flat Rock Cheese and More on the Minor Hill Highway in Pulaski, Tennessee. There you'll find the answer to your need in a compact or spacious metal building. Built by hand right at Flat Rock by some of the finest craftsmen around, there's a perfect building for everyone, including economy, utility, cabin, lofted or garage models, and even an animal shelter line. Buy or rent to own, see the different models at Flat Rock or on North Main Street in Ardmore and on Highway 43 South in Dunn. Call today, 931-363-3603 or 931-201-2205.
There are now more ways to save at Quick Mart. Become a Quick Club member and easily earn rewards on qualifying purchases at Quick Mart convenience stores using the Quick Club app, available on the Apple App Store and Google Play. To save on fuel for work, use the Fuel Rewards Pro app to earn 5 cents a gallon on work fill-ups and redeem the savings for yourself. To get started, visit fuelrewards.com/pro or download the app in the Apple App Store and Google Play.
The Raptor Series from Hustler Turf. A premium line of residential mowers designed with a wide stance for operator comfort. A one-piece 11-gauge steel frame and welded steel deck for added durability. Finished off with premium Kawasaki V-twin power. We are Hustler Turf, and this is Hustler Country.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome back to the Hayden Burks Show here on the X Sports Network. As we're here for our final segment today, Michael, it's our Q&A segment. And our first question comes in by an anonymous individual, and the question is, MLB opening days coming up. I actually think the Braves are opening days against the Phillies today, actually at 3:05 Eastern time. I mean, obviously, I know you're a big Boston fan. What do you expect from your team? As that's the question for both of us as our favorite teams.
My hope for this season is just don't finish last in the AL East. I mean, you look at their lineup, and it's just, this is a potential big offseason. There was a bunch of huge names in free agency, and we got nobody. So, I mean, it's the same team as last year that also finished last in the division. I mean, they won last night. They beat Seattle, who was a playoff team last year. I mean, they looked good opening day, but, as things, will continue on, we'll see how attrition really comes to bite them. But, Hayden, do you have any opening thoughts about the Braves going into today?
Oh, gosh. Well, where do I start? I mean, obviously, we got a good pitching staff. We got basically the same exact team coming back. Our coaching staff's a whole lot different. Obviously, Ron Washington no longer with the team. He's the general manager for the Angels, I do believe. Or not general manager, you know what I'm saying. The manager for the team. Anyways, he's with the Angels. Our first base coach, I'm blanking on his name. I can't think. I know his face, but I can't think of his name. Anyways, he's no longer with the organization either. So, I mean, Coaching changes are different. Obviously, guys, with routines, with these coaches, you grow a bond with them. And getting these new individuals in with the organization, it's going to be growing pains. But, hey, with this team, obviously they're probably going to win the NL East, in my opinion, again. I mean, you might get the Mets in there or somebody. You never know. But
yeah, I think we're in for a very entertaining MLB season. I mean, there's a bunch of really good teams. I mean, obviously the Angels or the Dodgers spent, it feels like 15 cents and built a super team with it, because who doesn't want to go play in LA? It's a very, very attractive market.
I don't understand. I mean, yeah, it's an attractive market.
So we had Ohtani and then Yamamoto, for two guys from Japan that signed with the Dodgers. They also got Tyler Glass now from Tampa, and then also Teoscar Hernandez from Seattle. Yep. But then there are guys like Juan Soto went from San Diego to the Yankees.
That was
Blake
a big
Snell
pickup.
Going from San Diego to San Francisco.
San Francisco, yep.
I mean, a bunch of big signings, and then some teams are like the World Series champions, the Rangers. They didn't really pick up anybody. They lost Jordan Montgomery, starting pitcher for them. But, I mean, with guys like Corey Seager and Adolis Garcia, Marcus Semien, they'll be really good again. Houston, doing Houston things. I mean, they'll always be competitive. The Braves, again, they're going to be at the top of things. The Phillies look good. Yeah. I mean, we had a bunch of guys shift around, get traded, get moved, get signed. But I think we're going to be in for a very entertaining MLB season.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably be busy with work and all that stuff, but I definitely will be keeping up with the Braves. So, I mean, like you said, it's gonna be fun to watch MLB for sure, and especially with the Braves. Obviously, they got the guys coming back. Boston, like you said, they got some new guys coming in. Both exciting time of the year for opening season for baseball. So, I mean,
ask me in 2 weeks, my opinion of Boston will have completely flipped, but they won last night, so we're on the road to go 162-0. That probably won't be the case after tonight, but
I don't think there'll be many teams that do that. Hey, if the Braves, if they make it, if they do 1-4 over, 104 wins, that's very impressive. But then again, you want to win that big one. They just, they won the World Series in 2021. But with the team they have in the Braves and their history,
they should be up there every year.
You expect them to be in the World Series every year. That's the expectation when it comes to Braves fans, and that's me in general as a Braves fan. I expect them to be independent and then making it to a World Series. So.
I have to agree with you. But, hey, opening day for baseball yesterday and today, it's a fun weekend for baseball fans around the world. We're about to go on the 6 months journey from April to October. Ton of baseball, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that'll do it here on the Hayden Burks Show, as we will have some games coming up next week. Obviously, they will be on the X Sports Network. So, that's going to do it. My name is Hayden Burks, joined alongside my co-host, Michael Marks. Producer, we'll call him producer extraordinaire, Sam Crash Camp, as that'll do it on the Hayden Burks Show. Thank you for watching. Have a good Easter weekend.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.